Welcome to the What's Up with Real Estate show. I am your host, Matt Shoup, and today I will be answering your questions about buying, selling, and investing in real estate. I will also be giving you a sneak peek into the inner workings of the real estate industry. Why? So that you can be informed and empowered to make the right decision about if, how, when, and why to hire not just a real estate agent, but a real estate professional. This is your show, so fire away your questions and your comments. I will be sure to answer them as a part of an upcoming show. Remember, I'll be keeping it real with my answers, so get ready, tune in, sit back, and let's have some fun. Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Matt Shoup, and welcome to episode 1 of the What's Up with Real Estate show. And before we get into answering all of the questions that I've been getting through email and Facebook and every media, every way that they're coming in, I just wanted to take this episode, and kind of lay out the framework of why I'm doing what I'm doing, why you should tune in every week. And before we do that, I just want to share my story so you can get to know me a little bit. I know that some of you watching this already know me. Some of you watching this may not know me at all. So I wanted to do that, is share my story, and then talk about how the show is going to be laid out and structured, and then we'll wrap up today. And I'm going to share some of the initial questions and what these future episodes are going to look like, because you've given me a big list of questions. I've got them right over here. So yeah, let's jump in. For those of you that don't know me, I live here in northern Colorado. I'm about an hour north of Denver, and I am a husband, a father, a very highly caffeinated entrepreneur, author, speaker, coach. I'm a Spain Aficionado. I'm in love with Spain, and I'm a Royce Gracie Jiu-Jitsu brown belt. I'm also a very passionate marketer, and that's just been one of the things that I've really studied and just have a natural knack for ever since I was a little kid. I've really loved that kind of stuff. So gonna take all those titles and then kind of break down my story here chronologically, just so you can get to know me and then understand why I'm sitting here in the end of 2017 with a real estate show. Never thought that I'd be here having this, but here we go. So let me tell you the story. One of my earliest memories growing up in New Jersey, I spent the first 10 years of my life there, was that I got kicked out of a lot of stuff. I got kicked out of school. They were telling me, hey, sit down, shut up, follow the rules, do what you're told. And I just wasn't naturally wired for that. I excelled in school, and I got everything done, but then I ended up getting into a lot of trouble, and nobody really took that and channeled that for me. So what am I going to do? Go get in trouble, right? So we moved from New Jersey when I was about 10 years old out to northern Colorado, and same thing. I wasn't really digging on school, and I wasn't the popular kid. I was definitely not into or good at sports. Didn't really fit in with a lot of the crowds here, and actually, I'll tell you, I had the headgear, the buck teeth. I had like Cartman from South Park, right? Remember Cartman? His sister had that kind of headgear going on. So imagine that. So didn't fit in. But business was my thing. I loved making money and learned how to do it at a really early age. When I was 10 years old and we first moved out to northern Colorado, I asked my parents for a couple $100, and they kind of laughed. They're like, you got to go find a way to make your own money. If you want that kind of money, you got to go make it. So I took their lawnmower, and during the summer, I knocked on doors and mowed lawns, and then I knocked on doors in the winter and shoveled snow. I then peddled candy bars out of my locker in school. So I've been an entrepreneur since I was a little kid, and I've really found a lot of purpose and passion in that. That was really a big part of my identity growing up. So fast forward to 1999 to 2003, graduated high school, and then decided I was going to attend Colorado State University. That's in Fort Collins, Colorado, which is also a part of northern Colorado. And I didn't really know what I was going to study. I knew that I loved business. I loved working really hard, making lots of money. But I didn't know where that was going to lead me. One other thing that I found kind of late high school, early college, is I was really good and gifted at foreign language, and Spanish in particular. So I was studying Spanish, not really knowing where that was going to take me. And then one Monday morning during an 8 a.m. class, I got approached by a recruiter for a college painting company. This guy basically told me, hey, do you want to come run a business this summer with somebody else's money, learn about marketing, sales, have lots of fun, work really hard, party like crazy, and oh, by the way, I made like $20,000 last summer. So my eyes lit up, and I signed that guy's paper. And literally like 2 months later, I was knees deep learning about college painting and painting houses. I had no idea what I was doing, but I was super excited and had lots of fun. So during my 4 years at Colorado State University, I worked my way up through that company, did really well, made a lot of money, learned a lot about business. One thing I didn't learn though, and that I didn't have growing up, was a really good financial blueprint. I was never taught a lot about finance. The school doesn't obviously teach you about money and how to manage it. They don't tell you, hey, spend less than you make, have a budget, maybe think about investing, compounding interest, all of this stuff, right? So I make $100,000 over 4 years painting houses in college. And you know what I've got to show for it when I graduate in 2003? Not only do I have nothing to show for it, I've got about 170-ish thousand dollars of debt. And I'll get into that in just a minute. So I'm working my way through college. I take a detour during the spring of 2002 to study abroad. I did a study abroad semester in Spain. I was the foreign exchange student over there and completely fell in love with the country. I returned from Spain and met my wife, Emily. So I met her out dancing one night, and I knew the minute I met her that we were going to get married. Took her a little bit longer to realize that and reciprocate the feelings. But I ended up graduating in 2003, made a bunch of money, learned a bunch about business. I'm super broke, super in love with Emily, and we decided to get married that next summer. And as we were planning for our future together, I was thinking a couple of things. I thought, I'm never going to come back to the painting business. This is not a sexy business, not a really fun thing to be doing out in the hot sun in the summer, but I'm not going to come back to it. I'm going to go do some other things. And I really had a passion and a desire to go back to Spain. And I really wanted to go do something, bigger with my life than going to work 9 to 5 for somebody like I saw a lot of my college friends doing. So I graduated in 2003, and I remember working with the college painting company. These guys were huge into personal development and growing as a person, making yourself better every day. They gave us a lot of books and a lot of things to read. And I remember a couple of my first books that I read in regards to real estate and investing and really learning on my own about money and how it works. So I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad in college. I read The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I read No Money Down in the 90s. And, the reason I share all of these things is because I graduate and I decide, hey, I'm going to go make a name for myself in the mortgage industry, right, back in 2003. And I'm going to go buy a house. So again, I'm $170,000 in debt, and then the bank allows me to buy a house. So I buy my first house, not really knowing what's going on, and that only puts me in more debt. And I get married in 2004. Emily and I moved into this 105% over-leveraged condo in Southeast Fort Collins, and I found myself working in a bank. In the mortgage division of a very conservative bank. And again, I'm the kid that gets kicked out of a lot of stuff and doesn't like to follow rules. And hey, sit down, shut up, do what you're told. That's how the bank was. We didn't get along, and I knew I wasn't going to stay there. But I was going to leave on my own terms. March of 2005, however, they bring in a new bank president, and he decided he was going to clean house and bring in some new faces. So he actually pulls me into the office and says, hey, go put all your crap in a box and get out. I look over, I see into my office. They're in there, like they're emptying out my desk, turning off my computer. And he said, maybe you should go do that painting thing again, and kind of gave me a little smirk, like, hey, you young punk, maybe you should go do that. And I had a few choice words to say to him, and I did. And I walked out, and I literally had all of my stuff in a box, a couple $100,000 in debt, just got married. And I literally decided at that point that the minute I stepped foot off the side of this sidewalk into the parking lot and step into my car to drive home, I've got to go tell my wife this. And more importantly, I have to tell her what the plan is moving forward. And I jumped into my car and I decided never again do I work for somebody. I knew that wasn't going to work anyway. And I'm going to go start a business, and I'm never going to look back and never have to answer to anybody else. And I took my only $100 that I had really left to spare and started a painting company March of 2005. Here in Northern Colorado. So the name of that company is M&E Painting, Matt and Emily, M&E Painting. And I literally went out for the first 24 months and I knocked on doors day in, day out. We did our first couple $1 million of revenue just beating the street, pounding the pavement, and just hustling and working really hard. This is before our kids came along, and laid a really good foundation for the business. So anyway, I'm in this upside down leveraged home, right? I'm working out of my home. I'm knocking on doors. I'm building this business. And from 2005 to really 2016, 17 right now, our company's grown. We've done about $25 million worth of painting in Northern Colorado. It's been a very profitable business. And needless to say, that couple $100,000 of debt, got out of that debt, got to break even point. And then we started growing. We started investing. We started buying real estate and investing in other businesses and learning new ways to make money. So, I've learned a lot over the past 10, 12 years of that business. And that really takes me up to 2017. Last year, I was able to step out of the daily operations of my painting company. And over that 12 years of operations, I've been able to write a book, to go speak all over the world about business and marketing and how I grew a business from nothing. And along the way, as we've grown our net worth into the complete opposite of a couple $100,000 in debt, we're over here now. A large part of that's been due to real estate. So real estate's always been this thing that I wasn't necessarily actively involved in as a licensed agent, but I was buying, I was selling, was growing my portfolio with real estate, and I knew that my painting company would eventually get to the point where I wouldn't need to be there in the daily operations, and there was other things from a business standpoint I wanted to add to my portfolio. So I decided last year, October of 2016, to go out and get my real estate license, and I did that pretty quickly and decided to hang it at a really phenomenal local company here in town, C3 Real Estate. I know the owners and partners of that company very well, and spent my first official year as a licensed real estate agent and realtor, and really what I more consider a real estate professional. So that's my story. The last 36 years, right, in a quick 11 minutes. And what I want to talk about now is why I'm doing the show and why it matters for you that's listening. And there's two reasons for this show for me. Is I think back to the success that I've had and everything that I've learned. And right, it's like you win a lot, you lose a lot. I've learned a lot. I've screwed a lot of stuff up and made a lot of mistakes. And some of the biggest things that I had in my life that made me successful were people that had been there, done that took the time to answer my questions, to educate me, to inspire me, not only about real estate, but about just business and leadership in general. So that's the main point of this show, is I want to answer your questions about buying, selling, investing in real estate. How does this all work? I want to give you the information and educate you, because I did not have that when I bought my first piece of real estate. I shouldn't have bought my first piece of real estate. That stinking agent and that loan officer, if you want to even call them that, they just wanted to make their money and close the deal. I was a broke, upside down kid who should not have been doing anything related to buying real estate. But that was back in 2003 when anybody could do it, and everybody made lots of money doing it. So anyway, I learned my lesson. That's cool. That was a great experience. But I'm here to educate you. I'm here to inspire you. I want to inspire you to take this information and to act on it and make great decisions, and then just inform you not only about the process and all the moving parts of real estate, but another thing I want to do is I'm going to take you like behind the scenes of the real estate industry, not only answering the questions in terms of what everything is, but I want to show you how this industry works. And you know what? A lot of real estate agents, realtors, they may not like that. I'm going to share a lot of the things that we talk about behind the scenes, because I think and know it's important that you know what goes on in that industry, because the more you can be educated and informed about what's going on in the industry, you can make a better decision about if, when, how you hire a real estate agent. And I'm going to challenge you not to hire a real estate agent. Don't even hire a realtor, and I'll explain the difference. But really start looking at what is a real estate professional. So I'm gonna show you in a couple episodes moving forward what I consider to be a real estate professional. But as you get into buying, selling, investing, is hire somebody that's really going to put your needs, your wants, your desires in front of theirs. They're going to educate you, and they're going to do the right thing for you, even if that means that they don't make any money, that they tell you maybe not to buy something or do something later. That's what I'm going to encourage you and inspire you to leave this show and have. Before we get into some of the questions that we're going to talk about, is I'm going to keep it real. I'm going to be shooting straight and answering. I don't know everything. I've only been a licensed real estate agent for a little over a year. I've been a business professional and a marketer and a negotiator and a hustler and a really hard worker my entire life. So I'm going to really take that experience and answer real answers to real questions, and we're going to have lots of fun. So make sure that you subscribe to this show on YouTube. Go to my website, mattshouprealtor.com. You can see all of those episodes, and make sure that you jump on my email list, and I'll make sure to send them to you every time they come out. And post those questions. Post them on YouTube. Put your comments on YouTube. Keep it nice. No trolling. Just keep it respectful and ask real questions that you want real answers to. Put some comments. Let me know how I can be better. Let me know how I can deliver a better show. All right. And before we go, I want to tell you, I've got 14 questions up here on the board that I've already been asked, comments that have already been made to me as people heard I was doing this show. And here's what you can expect coming up in the coming weeks. First question, how the heck do you even pronounce is it Realtor? Is it Realtor? How do you say it? I remember the first time I said I'm going to become a Realtor, and another real estate agent laughed at me. But I'm going to explain what is a real estate agent, what is a realtor, what is the difference, and then what's a real estate professional. Here's another one. For sale by owner, you're thinking of selling your home and you don't want to pay 6%, you want to list it yourself, and you just need some tips. You want to understand how and why maybe you should go for sale by owner. I'm going to explain why you should, and then I'm going to explain maybe why you shouldn't. I'm going to talk about why the heck would you pay 6%, 7%, 8%, whatever it is that a real estate professional is charging for a professional fee. Why should you pay that? Where does that money go? I want to answer the comment right here. Realtors are thieves. They make so much freaking money. I'm quoting. I cannot believe how much money you freaking thieves make. I think I'm going to go get my license. I'm going to talk about that. Should I fire my real estate agent? I'm going to talk about when you should fire your real estate agent. What is a real estate professional exactly? Talk about that a little bit more. How do I really find out my home's value? We're going to talk about that in an upcoming episode. I'm a first-time home buyer. What do I need to know? This is going to be fun because I'm going to answer the questions I wish I would have asked and I wish I would have known when I bought my first home. What special programs are there out there for veterans and men and women who have served in the military, which I have amazing amounts of respect for? Thank you for your service. We're going to do a show just for you, about you, and we're going to answer those questions. Hey, I'm going to sell my home. What do I look for in a listing agent? How should I hire? How should I interview? What should I ask them? Here's another one. Explain all of these real estate documents. Why are there 18 pages, 17 pages of a real estate contract? What is a seller's property disclosure, source of water addendum? What is all this paperwork, right? I'm listing my home and filling all this stuff out. My real estate agent hasn't even explained it. I'm going to answer those questions. Another thing I want to talk about is, you've seen, right, there's a discounted commission brokerages, flat fee models, right? What do you need to know about those? What are you getting for that discounted rate? Is it a good idea to hire a discount broker? I'll explain when you should, what you should expect, when you shouldn't, and that you get what you pay for. Is the market cooling down? I'm in Northern Colorado, so we're going to talk about that. Is this a good time to buy, good time to sell? What's going on? Last question that I've got for today that I'm going to answer is, I want to buy my first investment property. What do I need to know? How is it different from a personal residence moving forward as an investment? So those are some of the first questions that I'm going to ask. So keep the questions coming, keep the comments flowing. Thank you for tuning in. And until next time, this is the What's Up with Real Estate show, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.